Why do you think your people made me?
We made you because we could.
Can you imagine how disappointing it would be for you to hear the same thing from your creator? May I ask you something?
Please do.
How far would you go to get what you came all this way for? Your answers. What would you be willing to do?
Anything and everything.
Quarantine is cool. I had plans to stay in my bag this summer.
In the interest of transparency, I love both of these films. I was inspired to create this video essay after noticing some interesting parallels between Prometheus and Joker and how each film is perceived and discussed in much the same manner by audiences and critics. I find it fascinating that two films with so little in common can share so much when you dig a bit deeper. Polarizing is an overused and somewhat lazy descriptor as it relates to discussing movies. I think in the case of Joker and Prometheus, the term applies quite perfectly. Both films are near unanimously celebrated for confident cinematography, genre-bending creative ambition, and strong leads. On the other hand, both Joker and Prometheus are criticized for undercooked underlying narratives and for heavily flawed, some would even say incomplete, scripts, with these failings overlooked because of fanboy culture and how stylistically each film adds up to more than the sum of its individual parts. Both films pass the eye test. Look at the screen at any point, and the competency of the creators is obvious and apparent. You won't find many complaining about the direction or visuals of either film, and the parallels don't end there. Both films pose and ponder existential questions about the human condition and how we assign meaning to our lives. Both do so in a captivating style that is interesting and compelling, but neither film answers the questions presented. Both films sidestep the nagging issue of answering its own questions in deference to providing entertainment. They leave it up to us to interpret, debate, and argue. Now, considering that both films were financial successes with Joker grossing a cool $1 billion, directors Ridley Scott and Todd Phillips are certainly vindicated from a business perspective. You'll still bump into a few on the internet who see both films as complete wastes of time that don't understand their source material. I have a hard time with that position. Both Prometheus and Joker are endlessly re-watchable, with Prometheus standing out as one of the most consistently underrated and misunderstood films of the past decade. It's all about expectations. Prometheus was marketed as an Alien prequel, and while its visual fidelity and overall quality of presentation is worthy of inclusion in the franchise, if you go in expecting xenomorphs and facehuggers, it'll feel like a letdown. Some not insignificant portion of the movie-watching population would prefer their films fit nicely into a neatly defined package. I see the ambiguity and lack of handholding in Prometheus and Joker as each film's primary strength. Joker is commentary on how the mental healthcare system fails those without means, but it's also about the dangers of the exponentially growing wealth divide. We don't know how much of the movie is happening in the Joker's mind and how much is really happening, and for that reason, Joker, like most all art, is a mirror to the viewer. As a comic reader, I see Joker as just one origin story for a character defined by having many. Furthermore, the film is vaguely set in present-day US and has a realistic approach and feel. It makes sense that Todd Phillips might lean into real-life issues he feels are worth exploring. Those disagreeing on what Joker is about are really revealing their own biases as to which issues are most important, sort of like with Prometheus. Ridley Scott has gone on record about how he feels the alien xenomorph story has been told and how he cares more about androids now. This is reflected both in Alien Covenant and his involvement in producing the mind-bending Raised by Wolves. And side note, you really should be watching Raised by Wolves. I hope you enjoyed this video essay. Let us know in the comments what you think, and make sure you are following us on Instagram and subscribed on YouTube. Thanks for listening, and see you at the next one. Peace.
I've been grinding my whole life.